Somebody that we talked about before was Aljamain Sterling. He's talked about. I've seen footage that he moved out to Las Vegas. He's a little bit more focused. It was more. There are more things accessible to him, right? So the Performance Institute, and as well your gym over there. How do you see Aljamain doing in his next fight against Peter Yan? Are you guys exclusively working with him, or is he flying back and forth?
So he's been in New York for a while. I got to work with him. It's almost been maybe about a month and a half ago. When he just got cleared, he was in town. Him and I worked together. Then he went back home. So he was out in Vegas for his last camp mostly because of the PI, and he had a lot of injuries that he was fixing. So while being here, that's why him and I really struck up a good relationship, and I focused a lot on his camp. So I really don't know what he's going to do for this camp. I would assume probably a little bit of the same. He's in town. I'll see him tomorrow. So he's in town until Sunday. So we'll get a good week of sessions in, and then I can kind of nail down what he's expecting for camp. But for me, man, as a coach, like especially in a situation like Aljo, it's pretty one camp at a time bias, where it's like I know that I served a purpose for him because he was here. But if he's going to do most of his camp back home or in New York, then of course, like those guys back home should hold precedence, and those guys are the ones that are probably going to be doing most of the work. So really, it's really up to Aljo. I haven't really spoken to him much about it, but I plan on getting that nailed down this week and figure out what the hell he needs.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw the comments from TJ Dillashaw. He was talking about Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. One of his criticisms of Aljamain Sterling was he has no confidence in his hands. Mainly, he sees. I understand where he's coming from. Even from the Peter Yan fight, a lot of his strikes were kicks. And traditionally, he is one of those grapplers. Like against Corey Sandhagen, he took him down and he choked him out pretty easily. What are your thoughts on that? Is there anything in those comments, or is it just TJ Dillashaw talking?
No, I think TJ is probably pretty. I would say that Aljamain doesn't have confidence in his hands. I just think that Aljamain has a different skill set than TJ. And I cornered against Aljamain years ago with Brian Caraway. I was on the other side of that, and that was one of the assessments that I had on Aljo back then. Was he's just kick heavy, because a lot of the reasons why he does it is he likes to maintain his distance. He doesn't want to be at punching range. He likes to be at kicking range, but he likes to set up his takedowns off of that. So I don't think that that's the reason why is because of confidence. I think it's because of ideology and what he likes to implement. So, and again, like he does it really well. So he's the champ for a reason. And, I think his style gives a lot of people fits, and it's very awkward, and there's not a lot of like, reads and tells and things like that he does. But yeah, could you get better in the hands department? I think so. Absolutely. You should be getting better in everything. But I think he does a lot of that stuff for purpose.